Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's match. I'm Dead Latin here with Jax Taxman. How are you doing, Jax?
I'm doing really well. Excited to see some more action here right at the end of the season. I think I heard this is actually the very last game for the entirety of Div B East. So it'll be interesting to see if who will close out the season on the strongest note here with NUES or NUES, as I'm going to pronounce it, versus Minion Miners.
Yeah, very exciting close as we look towards the playoffs here. But zeroing in on this match, we've already had the coin flip here. Minion Miners ended up banning Dragonshire. NUES banned Towers of Doom, and we are on Tomb of the Spider Queen with Minion Miners electing to pick it. I don't know why it's not showing up that they did, but here we are on Tomb for the first game of the series.
Alright, yep, and so as we will get into the draft of game number 1, if we look at the standings, NUES sitting in second place. They actually cannot move. They are locked in. Minion Miners currently in a tie in fourth place with Jailbait. I don't actually know who has the tiebreaker. I have not gone back to look. I don't know who won the head-to-head, but if they win at least one map in this series, then they will overtake Jailbait for that spot. But regardless of what happens, those two teams will be the 4 and 5 seeds respectively, just in some order. So they definitely will be playing against each other in the first round of the playoffs. So actually there's really nothing at stake here for either team. It's just a matter of pride, but as you probably can guess, these teams are gonna have pride. Everybody wants that pride. You want to say that you got that win, and also to carry that momentum into the playoffs. So I don't think either of these teams are going to be slacking off here.
Yeah, definitely. Although it should be interesting to see if these teams hold some strats, maybe potentially that they're cooking up especially for the playoffs, or if they might try some out in this kind of meaningless game. Should be interesting to see as we see a first Uther ban there. Obviously, a specific ban against Minion Miners has been very effective with Uther so far, and then Zeratul more meta ban, just to make sure that you don't get that level 16 Zeratul who could be an absolute menace.
Yep. I mean, Zeratul, a pretty standard ban, especially compared to that Uther. You're saying, and now Diablo, another fairly standard pick, as I will go ahead and glance for you at these heroes profile stats about the NGS season so far. Uther being played in 0 games by Minion Miners.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. I was not exactly what I was expecting when I went to go look at it. I figured if they banned it out, there was going to be some precedent for that, but I guess it's either the match history or just NUES doesn't want to play against it. But we do see the Johanna ban, another very strong tank, getting those tanks out of the pool here in the early goings of the draft.
And then Maya, a very strong first pick there in order to secure the other strong assassin in the current meta.
Yep, Maev and Zeratul both very strong, and so getting one of them banned out and then the other one first picked is not too surprising. Do see Chaotic Order going on to that Maev. And now as we go back to the other side, we see Jaina Lucio. I was actually just thinking, with Johanna gone, Jaina still in high priority because she's got that wave clear. You do often see Johanna, Jaina if they're available. Johanna not available this time. We now see the Anubarak coming out. Anubarak, one of those last not banned strong tanks, and we see the Ana very good right now. I mean, we've talked about it every time that we've seen an Ana in these drafts, how good she is in the meta right now. And it looks like NUES agrees with us. As
Not only that, but already Maev and Zeratul are either out or on the side of NUES, so there's not going to be a very strong kind of back assassin that's going to be focusing her down. They're going to have to either go for a pretty dive-heavy tank on Minion Miners with an assassin to dive along with them, or to just try to not focus on diving the Ana.
We do now see Sylvanas banned out. She's quite strong, including on this map especially, because She can get that Merc Queen value, let her split push that bot lane, some possession. Because wave clear is so important on this map because you want to have those quick, crisp rotations between the top and middle lanes. And now we see the Phoenix ETC coming out. That's an interesting pickup to, I mean, Phoenix kind of makes sense, I can see it, but the ETC was not what I was expecting to
Yeah,
see
that
here.
makes me think that Cawthon's not confident on Garrosh this series, because I think that'd be a stronger choice at the moment. Although they have a lot of mobility on the side of NUES, so it'd be hard to really lock someone down, but Blaze Orphea is going to be able to do a ton of damage, and especially I love Blaze on Tomb because of how much clear ability he has along with his bunker ult to really help in team fights.
Yep, Blaze super good. I personally love playing Blaze. He's such a fun tank. He's got a fun offlaner or tank. I mean, you can play him both ways, but with all of that wave clear he has with his abilities, and he has that huge health pool of a tank. We now see Leoric coming out. He's also quite good, but especially also that bunker of Blaze provides so much utility and survivability to your team, and especially with the Phoenix on the other side. If Phoenix takes Purification Salvo, if Blaze can time the bunker, he just completely negates it. And so a real nice pickup here, and especially like you said on this map where wave clear is so important and Blaze has a lot of it. Leoric does have a good bit as well, especially once he hits level 4 and picks up Neil Peasants, but it will be interesting to see how that matchup goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I overall prefer the draft here of NUES. I actually expect Ana to go Nano Boost here, although there are a couple nice corridors and already use Ive Horse on Nano Boosting Orphea, whether it be Jaws or Feast that you end up going with, really helps to put out a ton of damage.
Yep. I've gotta agree with you, really. I mean, Maev Orphea is super strong assassin combo, and then like you said, the Ana with the nano boost ability, and then Nubarak Blaze also super strong. I mean, just all of these heroes are such good heroes in the meta right now, and they have great ways to work together. While Minion Miners don't have a bad comp, I don't necessarily like it quite as much as I do the side of NUES, so I'm gonna have to agree with you and say that I prefer NUES's draft here.
You will see, though, if it can be well implemented. I'm looking to see how pressured Honesty is on that Ana, because with the amount of heals Ana's able to put out, you kind of need to put pressure onto her. I might even see a stage dive here from ETC in order to achieve that. But there's going to be a ton of damage with Jaina Phoenix that will have to be responded to by NUES. But here we go, game number 1 on the blue team for NUES. It will be Chaos Dude on a Nubrak, Chaotic Order on Maev, Canoe on the Blaze, and Tasty on the Ana, and Night Knight on the Orphea.
And on the red side, playing for Minion Miners, we've got Cawthon on the ETC, who has now paused the game. We've got Himibo on Phoenix, Kobo on Leoric, Cermak of Cheese on Jaina, and Weskra on the Lucio. We do see that Kobo on that Leoric has disconnected, and he is currently standing at that top gate while the rest of his team stands in the middle. So we'll just hang out for a second while we try to get Leoric back into this game. But we can take a second and we can look at the talents that have been picked up, although only 2 have been picked up on the side of Minion Miners. NUES has picked up all 5. I don't see anything too out of the ordinary here that I notice. I do Blaze picking up the new habits on a going grenade build, for example. Anything you see that catches your
Not
eye?
really. All looks pretty standard. The only one that kind of catches my eye is Lucio at level 1. Looking to get the increased range. I generally prefer to take what the increase wall ride, the wall ride talent level 1. But I mean, I respect the range, especially on a map like here where with Lucio getting that increased range, he can cover a large part of both the mid or top lanes as well as the area in between the two. But here we go. Everyone run it down mid to start. It's both teams. It's going to be crucial for Minion Miners in order to get an early clear advantage here with the Jaina. Canoe actually going in with the charge, not able to catch anyone. He ends up taking about half his health for the going in price. but both teams will just back up now. And Tasty able to heal Blaze back up before he goes bot with Leoric. And Minion Miners gets a quick clear onto this mid lane.
Yep, and that's the power of having that Jaina, and I mean they have other good wave players on the team too, but Jaina especially, is if you can get all of that wave clear dumped out onto the wave and get that quick rotation. Getting the rotational advantage is so important on this map, and right now Minion Miners has it. So in the bot lane they're about even, but in that 4-man between mid and bot, I mean you look that the mid wave from NUES is already completely defeated before a single minion was touched by Minion Miners' wave. So they were just able to get.
Order's got some nice resets on the Fan of Knives, but use the teleport just to be able to clear. We'll be able to get away, luckily, but still that was a little risky.
Yeah, and that's, again, part of that power of the rotate. Might have had to stay to make sure they weren't missing soap, and then because Maya was so far up, got in trouble. In trouble again, actually going pretty far in here. We'll be fine. Chaos Dude also in trouble, but managing to burrow out, and will be fine. Chaotic Order, I thought might be in danger again, but smartly had that shade going out, so had that escape, was able to blink to it, and will be fine. Hawthorne going in, though, on Chaotic Order here.
Yeah, but you're seeing the power of the Ana heals already. Chaotic Orders getting focused down a lot by Cawthon, but and Tasty is just able to put out a ton of heals in order to keep up that solo target.
Yep. And we probably don't really need to look at the bot lane that often. That's just two tanks just poking down at each other and healing back up. It's pretty even down there. Really, there's a whole lot of excitement making up for it, though, in this top 4-man. A whole lot of back and forth, and nobody able to turn in gems that I've seen. There have been 6 turned in from Minion Miners, but I think that was probably in the bottom lane, as Leoric is missing a lot of gems compared to Canu. So now teams are looking for turn in, but aren't necessarily finding it. Sir Mac of Cheese in danger, but should get out.
Yeah, a nice slide by him, was able to peel off from Sir Mac of Cheese before Kakor was able to get the tether. So we'll be able to keep this game even in a slight XP lead for Minion Miners. No one really able to get a solid turn in, though. Only Kobo in the spot lane has been able to get 15 gems in already.
Yep, he's been the only one successful at turning anything in thus far this game, but he has gotten the 15, which will be the advantage for Minion Miners in that category. Although neither team currently having enough gems to actually get a full web weave return, and now it will be Minion Miners getting to that number, and NUES will pick it up as well. So now both teams do have enough, and the turn-ins are accomplished by Cawthon in order to get 34 into the bank in total for Minion Miners now. So just sharking around looking to see if they can finish it off, because NUES only has the 10 that they just picked up compared to the 34 of Minion Miners. But it's a lot of just sharking around that turn.
Wesker a little bit in trouble here, but able to get out before too much damage put on him. Now Chaos Dude forced to retreat along with Chaotic Order, but the Ana heals just enough, as Minion Miners trying to get a turn in, as well as trying to just deny turn from NUES. Both are just trying to trade opportunities and poke in this top turn in.
Yep, and NUES loves the chaos. They've got Chaos Dude and a Chaotic Order, but they're both in danger. Chaotic Order really in danger here.
Okay, Order barely able to get out. Nice heals from Tasty in order to keep him up. However, now Night forced to have to poke Wesker, who has 13 gems on that Lucio. Those are kind of crucial to get in. We'll be able to get those, and that will be enough in order to get the turn in. Well played by Minion Miners to get that first turn in.
Yeah, you see Kanu in the bot lane has 25 gems, but has not found an opportunity to turn them in. You compare that to Kobo, who had a similar opportunity to grab gems and is currently holding none because he got them all turned in, and so that really, I mean, that is a huge difference, and that's why the first web weaver wave going to Minion Miners here. And we'll have to see what they can do off of it. Looks like they're going to group up 4 of their members in the mid wave, and we'll see how much value they can get on the 4 side.
Yeah, Minion Miners was looking to push mid, but NUES forced them out, so they will instead go back up to the top lane here. Mid Webweaver already down, so NUES looking to maybe potentially aggressively rotate. Now they're just going to back up in order to try to defend their fort. Here comes the dive from Chaos Dude onto Rescrog, going very low along with the Ananate, denying him his Amp It Up healing. So that will force for them Minion Miners to have to back up, at least for now, while their Minion Miners cleared out in this top lane.
A really nice tether and a really nice dive in by Chaos Dude. Kothan will escape, but has almost no mana and about half of his life. Himipo having no shield, so a really nice defense by NUES will force Minion Miners out in that top lane. They have 70 gems on them right now with the 10 in the bank. Will give them more than enough to find a turn in if they are able to get those gems banked. So looks like Minion Miners are going to probably play for the poke. They don't have enough for a turn in of their own yet, but they would like to stop.
Chaotic Order going in here in order to try to make something happen. Sir Mac and Cheese is the one who's actually in trouble there. The Antasty doing a ton of damage with the Bana basic attacks, but will be forced to poke out as here comes the reinforcements for Minion Miners. I don't believe NUES was able to really turn in. Oh, actually they did get Canoe's gems in, and now they're looking for Night Knight to be able to get the turn in to get up to 59 or 49. No, excuse me, that would be enough. But instead they are forced to back off as Minion Miners continues to poke them.
Yep, you did see Sir Mac of Cheese fell down to 28 health, but was able to escape safely. Now Canoe caught out by Wesker with that boop. He gets the stun to keep himself alive. Fire will not be enough. Lucio Wesker getting that final blow, but in the meanwhile, NUES did manage to turn in enough gems to get those web weavers. I believe it was Chaotic Order on the Maiev in the top lane who got it. But 10's being picked up by Minion Miners on the strength of that kill. We see the Entomb, Sound Barrier, Salvo, Ring, and now the stage dive, as you said, and Kobo gonna have to use his Unstoppable in the bot lane to escape with his life. So he got flanked by 4 members of NUES. NUES now will pick up 10, so it's even talent tiers, both having their heroics. You see the bunker makes sense, the Eternal Feast, the cocoon, the nano boost, as we were talking about. Maiev the only one left to choose, but they are sieging down this wall and they may look to take the fort.
Yeah, this Webweaver has a lot of push, but instead NUES just going to decide to back up here and allow for Minion Miners to finish off the clear on this wave. Kothan here a little bit caught out on his rotation, taking a lot of damage. Along with the Ana deny nade, that will be enough to finish ETC off. So that a nice advantage here for NUES.
Yeah, what was kind of interesting was that you saw Blaze Canoe come flying in on the Blaze, try to hit that stun with his E, but actually missed the stun. But it didn't matter. They just had so many people surrounding, body blocking, and stunning that the ETC couldn't do anything. Was not able to make it out alive. Himipo in trouble here, tethered. They will pop a cocoon on the Lucio, looking for a fight here before the
Here comes Kothan though, with that stage dive, putting some damage on the Chaotic Order, who's able to TP away. Two get caught by Ring of Frost along with the salvo. Nubrak ends up going down. Now Blaze with Canoe in a lot of trouble as well. Will end up going down as well. So even though Webweavers picked up 2 members down for NUES.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that bunker by Blaze was questionable at best. I mean, I wasn't watching too carefully. It's possible he was unable to bunker out of mana or something, but he did not bunker through the purification salvo, and that just shredding him and the Anubarak. And so by the time that he got it out, it was far too late, because as soon as he popped out of it, he just got shredded down anyway. So at that point, once you've missed the bunker on the salvo, honestly, probably just hold it. Don't put it on the cooldown. I mean, I know you won't have to. They won't have salvo for a while, so you won't need it for that. But it's still a nice survivability tool if you take a fight, which might happen
Chaos,
right here.
Dude, trying to put some pressure on Akatha, and the sleep goes on to Himibo, but we'll be able to back up. As both teams still looking for a fight. 84 gems for Minion Miners. Here comes the cage looking for Himibo, along with the stun from Canoe. The Jaws as well, able to get Phoenix. Now Kobo also in trouble, being forced to back up here. Will end up going down. Night Knight will go down to Sir Mac and Cheese's damage. However, the Ring of Frost not able to catch anyone. So now Katha coming out of the cocoon gets pulled by Chaotic Order, just trying to get out. Chaotic Order might actually be caught here. Will be able to back up Sir Mac and Cheese on the flank, trying to do some damage, but will have to back up as overall it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of NUES.
Yep, so a good find by NUES, find that fight, get the picks, and come out ahead on it. They are still down level 13 talents, and Canoe taking some decent damage from Kobo here in the bot lane, but yeah, overall a good find for them in that fight, and it'll help them inch closer in that level gap. They are now on even talents, level 13 being picked up from both sides, and so they're stabilizing a little bit. They've got everybody online and even talent tiers. The ults are in favor of Minion Miners here, 2-for-1, and they will pick up the Web Weavers as well. So the advantage is still definitely in the hands of Minion Miners, but it's not an insurmountable advantage by any means.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now it appears that Minion Miners wants to go mid here. They have a nice minion wave in order to push it out with, along with the gate already going down. So it should be interesting to see what they're able to do, as well as that bot fort is already extremely low, so that will likely be picked up by the Web Weaver, with only Blaze defending. But actually, it's Chaos Dude wanting to go in here on a mac and cheese, but not able to get the follow-up stun. Cawthon just sliding out. Here comes a huge salvo along with the Entomb, able to get a Nubrak down. Now Cawthon diving onto the Ana. Chaos Order barely able to teleport out, but Iantasti in a lot of trouble. Canoe also kind of caught, has already used his charge, will end up going down, so that's 3 members dead on the side of NUES during this Web Weaver push.
Yep, so that'll lead to big push from the side of Minion Miners. They still have this Web Weaver. It's not very healthy, but it's got enough for them to take this keep front wall. They could maybe look to do some damage on the keep. I don't know if that they have enough to take it, especially with that Nubrak coming back online, unless they find the pick here on
Order
the
in trouble. Kobo coming in, will be able to get the kill by Cawthon. The teleport just was not far enough, so this is spelling a little bit of trouble here by Minion Miners. I don't know if they can really go core quite yet, but they did just pick up 16 with that kill. So they will be looking to go top along with the rest of this Web Weaver in order to get the keep top as well. So a ton of siege damage able to be picked up here by Minion Miners with the second Web Weaver wave.
Yeah, it was huge, and like you said, they agree they are not able to go core here, not that big of an advantage, which I think is the right play. But still getting actually all 3 keeps, as the huge minion wave in the bottom lane will finish off the bottom keep. So I believe when that Web Weaver phase started, there were 2 forts still up. The bottom one was almost dead, but the mid one was fairly healthy, and not only did they finish off both of those, they also finished off all 3 of the keeps. And they get the immediate next turn in. This actually might be enough for them to go game, unless NUES pulls off.
However, here comes the flank by Minion Miners. Antasti a little bit caught out here. Excuse me. Here comes Ring of Frost, able to catch 2, but the bunker coming out, able to save Blaze at least for now, and as well as Night Knight, but a ton of damage still going out. Kobo very low, might end up going down. Oh, will end up going down. So that's 1 down for Minion Miners. They're looking for more. A nice ult there by Himibo, barely not able to finish off Night Knight. Now it's Chaotic Orb who might be in trouble. Will end up going down, so 1-for-1 trade. Especially with that Leoric going down, that might not be enough. However, Chaos Dude will be able to back up, so it will be a trial time for NUES on this core defense.
Yeah, I think Minion Miners has enough to do it, especially when Web Weavers get here, but they might need to back off and wait for those mid and bot Web Weavers as the top Web Weavers falling low, but looks like NUES is going to try to make
Chaos Dude going on to Himibo, ends up going very low, will have to back up. Antasti though, a little bit caught out, going very low herself, will end up going down. So now it's Ana is down, and they're looking for more on the side of Minion Miners. Here, the Entomb ends up going on to Canoe, who can't get out. Does a lot of damage to Kobo, but he is still up. Chaos Dude himself also looking low now. Will end up going down. Chaotic Order in trouble. The core itself is already down to 44%, 40% now, and with only Night Knight left, that will be game number 1 going to the side of Minion Miners.
Yep, it was a very well played game by both teams, but especially well by Minion Miners, who did pick up that game 1 victory and securing that they will be the number 4 seed, although we already knew that they had their matchup set in stone. You know that they will be the higher seed going into it. So that's got to feel good for them, finish a little higher in those overall season standings. But one thing I'd like to point out, and it came a little while back, but while they had that second to last web weaver push, the one that got them all 3 keeps, there was a moment where you saw Leoric hit a very nice entomb onto 2 people, and the Blaze was outside of the entomb, and then just turned on Leoric to try to focus all of his damage on Leoric, see if he could burst him down. And so during that time, Phoenix popped Purification Salvo and hit several members. I don't know how many. I think it was 3 or 4, maybe all 5. And so, but Blaze was so focused on trying to take down that Leoric, which I don't think they were even able to do, that he did not pop the bunker, and so the purification salvo got a ton of value. It was just there were moments like that where bunker is really actually in a lot of cases the perfect counter to the purification salvo, but it just didn't work out for them as well as they would have liked. And so big value picked up by Phoenix, not just on the purification salvo. Those were great, but just in general, Phoenix was going crazy, having top hero damage in that game, and that was one of the reasons that they were able to win that game so strongly.
Yeah, definitely. Look at the stats we see. It was Phoenix who ended up actually having more damage than Jaina. As you said, some nice ults were able to really boost his stats. I feel like that's what made the difference in this game was once ults came online, it was Minion Miners who were really able to capitalize on that as well as getting some nice flanks in order to divide up NUES as a team in fights, and thus they were able to get access to the backline and just kind of roll over them in fights. They got that one key web weaver phase that they were able to get the momentum with and keep it into the end of the game.
Yep. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was. It didn't look like there was any one moment where NUES did any particular thing wrong, really. I mean, it was well fought, but it was just Minion Miners doing the right engages and capitalizing on them. And so that was what they were able to snowball into the 13 kills to 4 advantage, and that was what gave them game number 1. We'll see that NUES will take the first pick. So we're gonna have to see what Minion Miners wants to take us to for game number 2, and we'll have that for you shortly.
Yeah, if you're Minion Miners though, as a solid performance, I'd like to see another kind of smaller map as they were able to dominate the rotations in between top and mid that game with that Lucio plus Jaina. So maybe a map like a Volskaya Foundry, which is kind of similar, just with different objective, obviously, where you can get that top and mid rotation going and get some momentum off of that.
Oh, I've been told that we do have the Volskaya pick coming out from the side of Minion Miners for map number 2. So we will head towards that second game, and you called it. You just said maybe they'll pick Volskaya, and well, I mean, I don't know. You might have a man on the inside, perhaps. You you got the insider information, or maybe they just have the same thoughts
I wish
you
I
do. It
had
makes
sources
sense.
to have some journalistic integrity, but unfortunately, it's just the power of guessing. When you have approximately, I think it's like 10 to 12 maps in the pool, you get one right event every once in a while.
If you guess any one random map, then you have what, a 1 in 9 or 1 in 10 chance to get it right. As long as you don't, I mean, I guess if you consider the fact that there are bans, as long as you don't guess one of the ones that's banned, your chances
Then
go
there's the
up
teams that
tremendously.
we had once that picked a map that wasn't even in the pool for NGS, and thankfully we were able to realize it in lobby. The fact that it took us that long to realize that this was the wrong map pool to be pulling from, a little bit embarrassing on our part, but we will be going pretty quickly into this next game.
Yeah, you do see You see that we've got all of our members here. Gonna make sure that everybody's ready. And then we are going to go ahead and get ourselves into game number 2 in just a moment. And here we go. Volskaya Foundry. I expect to see, fairly similar things from both teams, really. Don't need to change it up too much if you're minion miners, because it worked and you won the game, and a lot of that stuff really does transfer fairly well over to Volskaya from Tomb. And from the side of NUES, you have a comp that would also work very well in this map, and unless there's a hero that you're more comfortable on that you didn't pick up last game that you'd like to substitute in, I mean, a lot of those heroes, if you just they will ban a Nubrex, they won't be able to pick that one up this time. But if you just execute a little better, find some of those kills that you weren't able to finish off last game, they absolutely could bring this back. I mean, they were by no means out of that last game. It was
Yeah,
close
and I
all the
don't
way
think
through.
there's one piece that NUES can just kind of ban out in order to shut down that comp. It was just kind of a team effort there that I don't think was really hero dependent. Sure, some nice ults like the Phoenix were able to put out a ton of damage, but you can sub that with something else potentially and get the same result. I don't think it was like a deal breaker. I'm surprised Abathur banned out here. Abathur normally not taking on Volskaya. Maybe NUES just wants to have fun with one ban every map.
Maybe. I will look at Minion Miners, and they have not played Abathur this season. So, I don't know. I think you're right. I think they might just be having fun with it at this point. I mean, you might as well. You do see the Samuro ban. NUES has played Samuro 4 times, winning 2 of them. So that is not an unprecedented thing for them to pull out. And they will go with the Johanna first on Chaos, dude. Switching over to that. Which does leave Diablo open if Minion Miners want to go that route. They could also just go the ATC again. If they do that, I expect them to put a lower priority on it. But if they want to go the Diablo, they probably have to pick it here. I don't imagine it making it through that second ban phase. They will pick up the Jaina early again. Makes sense. Sir Mac of Cheese was putting in some work on that Jaina early on in the last game, and so just stick with it. We do see the Lucio coming out for Weskra, and again, worked well for him last game. Might as well stick
and
with
I'd
it.
like to see an Ana again. Antasti put a really nice performance on the Ana, I believe, last game. It's just when you have an ETC stage diving you every fight, there's not much you can do as Ana unless you hit a nice sleep dart if it's off cooldown. But they will be able to get Sylvanas this time. I believe that might make a nice difference for NUES in getting a little bit more team fight damage as well as getting more value with their objective.
Yeah, what's interesting is that actually last game, they were the ones who banned Sylvanas in the third ban phase, choosing to take, well, it's because they ended up getting the Maiev first, and no Maiev this game. We will see the Malthael getting manned out, but yeah, this game, I guess they just didn't like the way that the Maiev was working for him last game, so they said, we sub that out. We'll take our tank still, we get Johanna instead of Nubrak, take the Ana, and we'll take the Sylvanas this time, instead of the Maiev. We do see Maiev is still open at the moment. I don't know if Minion Miners play that at all. I can look. Looks like they have 1 game played and it was a loss, but the ban will come out anyway, which makes sense.
Does leave
Very
open both
hero.
Diablo and Garrosh as options. Although Minion Miners didn't go for Garrosh last time, both of these teams might just not be comfortable running a Garrosh. And especially with Lucio Jaina already, I don't expect them to go Garrosh. There's no real combo to go with it, other than just like standard Jaina burst damage. So Diablo, though, would be a nice complement to both of these heroes.
Yeah, so Greymane, and there is the Diablo, unsurprising. As we were just talking about how good he would be here. They listen to us. We speak words and they hear them. Sometimes. With Greymane, I like that a lot. Jaina Greymane, very solid 2 assassin combo. When you pick the Jaina, you often want to combo it with either a Greymane or a Raynor. 2 heroes that both go quite well with the Jaina, and they will pick up the Greymane. We see the Arthas, could be a main tank. It isn't. They already have a Johanna. It is the solo laner. I brain lapse there, but the Zul Jin, that is a very interesting pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared for this Zul'jin here, because the comp of Minion Miners is very single target blow up focus. If Cawthon's just able to get one wall bang with his charge, there's a ton of damage that's going to be on the receiving end once that person gets flipped into Minion Miners. So he's going to have to play very careful, but there are no blinds to counter him. Meanwhile, it's going to be off lane Thrall. So a ton of damage here on the side of Minion Miners for the team fights on the point.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me a little bit is if the Thrall isn't playing carefully, it's kind of a squishy. It's kind of a squishy comp. There's not a whole lot of frontline. It's just that Diablo. Which I mean, that's fine because you do see Thrall played in the off lane all the time, and there's a reason for it. You're not gonna keep seeing him played there if he's not good. But and really, I guess, I mean, if you look at NUES, they don't necessarily have a whole lot of dive to take advantage of that. I mean, Minion Miners, I think, has the stronger dive comp than NUES does. They have the Greymane and the Diablo, so I don't know. I could see it working out for him, even though it might be concerning. I don't think it'll be enough to make it real dangerous, so I'm gonna say I actually like Minion Miners comp a little better here.
Well, here we go as we get into game number 2. First up on the blue side, it's going to be NUES looking to even up the series. It's Chaotic Order on the Sylvanas, Night Knight on the Johanna, Chaos Dude on the Zul'jin, and Tasty on the Ana, and Canoe on the Arthas.
And on the red side for Minion Miners, looking to get this domination to end their season strong, rolling into the playoffs. We've got Cawthon on the Diablo, we've got Himibo on the Greymane, we've got Kobo on the Thrall, we've got Sir Mac of Cheese on the Jaina, and we've got Weskra on the Lucio. Here we go, game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry. We see Thrall splitting off immediately, but everybody else having a dance party in the mid lane, and Thrall was jealous he wasn't invited, so he just showed up
Yeah,
anyway.
it will be Crash Lightning coming out on the Thrall. Makes me a little bit happy, but also concerned. This is a map you can play on because with the points you're going to get a lot of stacks. Here goes Cawthon though, looking to catch out Chaos Dude with the Zul'jin. Himibo going in, along with Kobo trying to get the confirmation kill, not able to, but Minion Miners able to just back up successfully, while Tasty has a lot of healing to do.
If I don't know how to pronounce the name. If the Ana ever tunes into this VOD, probably going to be mad at all of the different ways we managed to mess up the name. But I'm going to go ahead and put the blame out onto the player for picking that name.
Yeah, it's always never caster's fault, always player's fault, obviously. That's the rule of thumb in esports casting. As we look in the bottom lane, pretty standard. I actually, doesn't Arthas win the lane matchup against Thrall?
I would imagine so, and it looks like he certainly is right now. The problem for Thrall is having to burn all of that mana, all this cooldowns, in order just to get both the wave clear and the poke. So Arthas kind of can do that a little easier, and he's got that beef to him, so he can step up a little more than Thrall can.
The damage trying to be put out onto Night Knight, excuse me, on the Johanna this game. Not able to successfully though, so Chaotic Order gonna go ahead and pick up their turret as both teams rotate up. Potentially might be looking for this support camp here. Instead, they're just going to trade out and clear out this top lane as both race to get level 4 and then level 7 before the next point comes online.
Yep, you did just mention it, and I didn't catch it either. Actually, there was a swap at the end of the draft. Night Knight moving over onto that Johanna. Did not play the main tank last game, so a little bit of a role swap going on here. The Chaos Dude was playing the Anubarak, the main tank last game, but now playing the Zul'jin. Gotta assume that's just a comfort pick. But it will be interesting to see if that works out for him. And it's a little hard to swap roles in the middle of a series, but it's not impossible. So we will have to see how it progresses as this series, or as this game in particular goes on. Cawthon actually taking a lot of damage. Has a high health pool because he's Diablo, but falling to almost half health there.
Yeah, as both siege camps will now be picked up right before the control point becomes unlocked. And overall, actually pretty much equal in XP so far. So it's going to be an even fight for this first control point.
Minion Miners, I think, looked like they were considering going for support, but they decided to just go stand on the point. We've got good old-fashioned standoff here. Both teams kind of sitting back on their respective sides and staring at each other while Thrall and Arthas battle out in the bot lane. Arthas looking pretty low, actually. Gonna have to be careful when he rotates here, Kanu. Go in, he might get some mana healing, but also that mana bar is pretty low. Especially
Mac and Cheese coming for the nice flank. As you noted, Canoe already very low with the charge from Cawthon. Will force Cawthon to take back as he took a ton of damage there. Chaos just chucking some axes and doing a ton of damage from the flank there. But it will end up being Minion Miners kind of taking a little bit of control as almost all the members of NUES are forced to have to tap for now. But they will not quite succeed the point as they are able to continue to contest it. Both teams now just, again, looking to see who will be the first one to blink and go in. It will be Canoe going in. Cawthon looking for the charge on a KS2, not able to. He's taking a ton of damage there, but it will end up being Star Mac and Cheese getting the kill onto the Zul Jin. Now Canoe looking low. Can they confirm the kill onto Westcroft going really deep? Will not be able to as he has to back up from the damage from Chaotic Order, but it will be Night going down on the Johanna, so Minion Miners able to get the progress going on the point.
Yep. And as a quest update, we see Lucio finishing party mix. Diablo sitting at 80 souls. 7 stacks on the Crash Lightning for Thrall. Arthas has the double quest. He's got 11 out of 20 on his root quest from level 1 and 59 out of 150 for his Frozen Waste, the E quest at level 4. But you see 26 stacks on Unfurling Shadows from level 1 at Sylvanas. And we do see an engagement possibly here from NUES while Minion Miners were off taking their turret.
Yeah, Sir Mac and Cheese now just getting to the point. As Chaotic Order and Sir Mac and Cheese trading a ton of damage, but Rescra able to just heal that back up. Now it's Canoe who's taking a lot of damage from Cawthon. Cawthon's just actually willing to sit back here, not necessarily go in and take a ton of damage and force himself out as he has in the past. But here we go. The turret is dropped here. Night down to half health. It is Chaotic Order who ends up getting focused down there. Now Canoe in a lot of trouble. Will end up going down. Himmy able to barely get out. So with those 2 kills, it will be Minion Miners being able to take this first Protector.
Yep, that was a quite good job by them. And going back to take their fortification camp, getting that turret, really ended up helping them, because you did see in that first fight, both turrets used, and then in the second fight, that turret was used by them, helped them get that extra damage out and win that fight. I think they might have won it anyway, but it certainly helped to help finish off some of those kills and win that fight. They are up 4 kills to 0 early on in this game, but more importantly, they're up by a little more than a full level and very close to picking up 10s, only half a level away compared to the 2 full levels away that NUES is, and Minion Miners will pick up that top fountain, which will give
Himmy might be in trouble there after getting the Protector falling, but him and Cawthon, despite being already half while in the Protector, will be able to safely get out. Meanwhile, the teams both just going back to lanes in order to soak.
Yeah, nobody has actually made an attempt at the support camp yet, which is kind of interesting. And now, as NUES goes to take their turret camp, it'll be interesting to see if Minion Miners knows they have the numbers advantage and capitalize by going for support, or if they just go to take something else, try to get the advantage through soak. Looks like Himibo is in that area, so it is Weskra and Sir Mac and Cheese will join them, so they will go for that support camp, especially now that they've picked up those level 10s. We see the Sundering coming out from Thrall, Apocalypse from Diablo, Sandberry from Lucio, Ring of Frost from Janna, and the Cursed Bullet from the Greymane. So will be interesting to see how that works out for him. Ring of Frost into Apocalypse is a very deadly combo if they can hit it. And the Sundering is an interesting pickup just to add a little more CC to this team, which I guess kind of makes sense. Their only real CC being
They're trying to push their ult advantage a little bit, but Cawthon took a ton of tower shots, so he'll be forced to back up along with Night, who took a Cursed Bullet straight to the face. But now here come the ults online for NUES, as we see Blasted Shield, Ghouls, I believe it's Army of the Dead, for Arthas. That is Taz Dingo there for Zul Jin. I have Horus from Ana, and Sylvanas yet to pick her ult.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she picks. I'm gotta assume it's gonna be the Wailing Arrow and not the Mind Control. And yeah, there it is. But you never know. They will invade the turret here. Actually, will steal it, but this could be
Ring of Frost not able to catch anyone, however, but the Cursed Arrow able to get 2. as Dingo ends up getting popped, but he is immediately popped by Apocalypse, so he will end up going down. So that's 1 kill already on the side of Minion Miners. However, Cawthon is going to be going pretty low there, taking a lot of damage from just the turret, so that they will only be able to get the 1 kill, but the turret is used. So overall, a nice fight for Minion Miners.
Yep, they will take that. They do lose their turret, but it gets used immediately. They do have to use the emitter. That is the downside, but they find the 1 pick for nothing. All of the really big important cooldown ults being used, except for Army of the Dead. Cursed Bullet, I don't even know if it was used. It probably was, but it's up so fast that it's back online, so it doesn't really matter. Army of the Dead not being used was good for Arthas. We'll have that if he needs it for the next fight. Johanna's Blessed Shield and on his Eye of Horus should be up for this control point, but because Dingo and Wailing Arrow will be down, as will Apoc. Sunbury will be up shortly after the point is up and on.
Here comes NUES. Canoe was forced to use that Army of the Dead in order to survive from the gank attempt by Minion Miners. The rest of the team rotating down, but not able to catch anyone as Minion Miners was already on the retreat. So now both teams will actually start going towards the point. NUES is going to go ahead and take their turret well on the way, while Amiibo goes ahead and clears the siege camp in the top lane. And Minion Miners is going to start to get some progress on this protector phase.
Yeah, so some interesting things to note looking at these, looking at the quest takes by these different teams. Crash Landing actually still only at 12 stacks. Thrall's not getting a ton of value on that. I'll put this off for a second just in case there's an engage. There's not. Thrall also taking the level 7 Maelstrom weapon quest, and he's currently at 25 out of 40 attack damage on that. So interesting to see if he'll be able to pick up that extra movement speed. Later on in the game, it's an interesting take. We'll have to see. And Jaina sitting at 18 out of 20 on her.
Yeah, here we go. NUES actually engaging despite being down 13. Still looking to put a lot of damage on the Cthulhu, but there's 2 already hit there by the Ring of Frost, along with the Thrall's ult. Here comes the Eye of Horus, though, able to heal up and put a ton of damage on top of that. Able to get 2 kills there, along with Thrall falling. That is a nice 3-for-0 trade by NUES, and they pick up their 13s.
I think Eye of Horus just single-handedly won that fight. I mean, like, really, you look at it, like, without Eye of Horus, they don't win that fight. Like, they had so many people so low, and the members of Minion Miners that were low were, like, way on the other side. They were about to get out, and then all of a sudden, Eye of Horus just comes out and says, "You're not low, you're not low, you're not low because you're dead," and turns the fight.
Yeah, it kind of makes me question that Sundering pickup, because the one thing Sundering does do as an Ana is it just lines up your teammates perfectly for you to hit a couple Eye of Horuses and give a ton of healing out. So that is one of the side effects that's going to Thrall's going to have to look out for on the side of Minion Miners.
Yep, Thrall, he's aggressively positioned. So is Cawthon. Wow, just obliterates Kagura.
Yeah, he himself is going very low. Eye of Horus able to pick up 2 kills there, but as it will force Sundering out just to cancel the Eye of Horus. But the Kobo is on the run now, trying to get out. Night Knight will intercept him, and he will end up going down. Now Cawthon trying to get a root will, but he himself is so low he can't try to follow up. But this protector will be picked up by NUES.
Yeah, so 3 more kills for NUES. They do lose 1 this time instead of 0, so step in the right direction for Minion Miners, but certainly not what they wanted. A 3-for-0 is just devastating, and to lose the Protector means you can't really mount a whole lot of a defense. I've got to assume that the Protector is going to pick up the fort if they choose to siege down top. Looks like they will for the moment. And then they should, depending on the time, they're just going to back out because they do want to get that bottom fountain. That's the thing I was wondering about, if they could still get both. They don't think they can. I'm not sure they could either. But by taking these walls, they will get a big XP lead. Actually, might should win the race to 16. Might pick it up around the time that this Protector goes down, as they're now at level 15 and a half. So this is a huge turn for NUES, taking a strong lead here after really being behind to even for all.
Yeah, they were
part of the game.
Almost down an entire XP level going into this Protector phase, but they've been able to come back plus a lot more. Basically make up 2 levels here with all the kills they were able to amass, plus all of the siege XP they're able to get from taking down all the different gates. However, the well will not go down, so that's something that is an advantage on the side of Minion Miners. You kind of take your advantages where you can. As this Protector will expire now, and both teams will go back to soaking. Minion Miners does have their turret up, but so does NUES. So both teams will just go back and take their turrets now.
So we do see Jaina finishing that Globe Quest from level 1. Thrall at 20 stacks out of 30 on his Crash Lightning, and at 36 damage out of 40 on his
Cawthon might be caught here, gets rooted there by Arthas. Will end up going down, but not before he's able to pocket APOC. Only able to catch Canoe there, so just a 1-for-0 trade there, plus APOC used on the side of Minion Miners.
You know, that hurts. I mean, that really hurts. When you're already down by that full level of XP, Kobo's got to be careful here too.
He's barely able to get away, but you got to be careful with Chaotic Order on the Sylvanas, able to just disable the building and allows for you to dive a little bit deeper than you might be expecting when you're just solo laning, as they will just be able to take the entire fort in bot lane. So if NUES is able to take this next Protector, they can definitely look for getting at least keep with the objective phase.
Oh, I4 is getting a lot of value. Canoe was going in on the support camp at 2v1 against Himibo and Weskra. Might be able to, cannot kill Himibo. Oh, I4 has just ran out of shots. Himibo falling under 100 HP, but Canoe won a 2v1 off of the strength of the combined power of Army of the Dead and Eye of Horus. So, wow. I mean, that just shows you how powerful that ult is, right? And it almost became a one. He almost got a kill going in down 1v2 just because the healing and damage put out by Eye of Horus is so strong. If NUES wins this game, I've gotta imagine that Minion Miners are going to
definitely. And Tasty is getting a ton of value, not only with Eye of Horus, but just with the Ani heals in general. Able to save some people last game and early on in that first phase. But now here's Cawthon again, might be caught along with Ruskra, both getting caught up there by the root. Oh, a huge Ring of Frost, able to catch 4. A nice cleanse, able to get 2 of them away. However, it will end up being Cawthon going down, as well as with Thrall. Weskra now in trouble. Will end up falling to the Eye of Horus. Again, a fight turned by Eye of Horus.
Wow. I mean, what more can I say, right? Wow, just so much value from Eye of Horus. We see now Silvtrate getting value once again. That'll lead to a second fort take. Silvtrate got them the whole bot fort. Silvtrate will get them the whole mid fort. And that top fort might be in danger if Minion Miners don't respond. With the camp pushing in, it's already down to about half health. Looked like Sylv was considering going up to it there for a second, but they're just going to go ahead and all group up. They'll actually go to steal this fortification camp away, since they have the 5v2 on the map. While they send Arthas down to that bottom point, so they will get the advantage of first percentage on this point. Jaina dealing with the camp in the top lane so that the top fort will not fall for Minion Miners, but Minion Miners gonna have to regroup and probably try to find a fight here very soon before NUES is able to pick up 20.
Yeah, now is the time for Minion Miners in order to pick a fight, as already they have a level and a half advantage on the side of NUES. But here they go. They're a little bit split there on the side of NUES, but not able to find the engage they really wanted. Now Kobo just trying to get the stacks he needs in order to get at least a little bit closer to finishing Crash Lightning. But Sir Mac Cheese just gets down this point. A nice root there by Canoe there. However, he ends up getting burned down, forced to use Army of the Dead. Will save him for a second. Cawthon will end up going down, not being able to save by Reska's ult. Sir Mac and Cheese also very low. Chaotic Order going for the kill. Will not be able to get it. Canoe getting 2 more roots there, but Wesker will be able to escort his teammates out, but that will be the Protector being picked up here by NUES, looking for a keep.
Yeah, it was a nice ice block by Sir Mac of Cheese. Stay alive. If the ice block didn't come out, Ana was just gonna hit one more shot from Eye of Horus and finish off the kill. Because Ana saw that the Jaina was in the ice block, chose to just focus the shots elsewhere to get some immediate value, and then be out of that Eye of Horus so that she could get into the Protector. And now with the power of the Protector plus the Silvtrate on this keep, I think that keeps can go down easy. And the level 20s being picked up from the side of NUES gives them a really strong advantage here. They might conflict for the second keep. They definitely can't go for 4. I wouldn't think, even with the 20 advantage, because all 5 members still are back up. Minion Miners, they actually might look for it.
Amiibo getting caught out there by the root from the Protector. Now Kobo also will end up falling. So Core is now very much a possibility, even with Turret being dropped in Canoe, actually going very low. And Tasty is out of that Protector now, so able to put out a ton of damage. Now in the end, it is Chaos Dude able to put a ton. 2 people get ranked here by Ring of Frost. They're looking just to get the kill onto Canoe, but the Core will end up going down. NUES being able to take game number 2 to tie up this series.
Yeah, and so that was very well executed by them. They just played their game, played it nice, and looked for their opportunity. And around mid game, they were able to find that opportunity they needed to just go ahead and go for the throat, take them out, even though the Green May pick Curse Bullet. Ed was on the other team. But they went for the throat, and they got it. They went for the jugular, went for it all. All of the cliches. Did I miss any? Did I get all the cliches? But they went for it. They shot for the gold. There's another one. Shot for the moon. Here we go. I'm getting them all in. But they won the game. What I'm trying to say is a very strong performance. Looked like they were going to be down early, but able to bring it back. And that Protector, especially that second Protector, was what really allowed them to just take the money and run away with game number 2 to send us to a deciding
easy
game.
MVP here. And Tasty on that Ana with the Eye of Horus, able to out-heal Lucio, who generally puts out a ton of healing. Out-heals most supports just because he's getting a ton of healing even when you're not trying to get like solo target healing done. So it's very impressive to be able to out-heal a Lucio even on a high support like that. Zul'jin with Chaos Dude actually able to put a ton of damage in fights, especially once he was able to pick up Taz Dingle there. Able to kind of stay in fights a little bit longer and then know that he's got the heals from Tasty to survive maybe the initial burst from Minion Miners. And I think the big thing also note is Cawthon's 5 deaths. He was the one who was getting focused down in fights by NUES. So that might be something to look out for in game number 3.
Yep, we will see Minion Miners, after losing that game, have decided to take the map pick yet again. They will send us to Battlefield of Eternity for this 3rd game. Be interesting to see how this one goes. Strategies are a little different, as it is a 2-lane map, and you do need race to take care of that immortal that will spawn in the middle of the map. But I mean, a lot of those heroes are just strong generalist heroes that we could see again. I mean, something like Greymane gives you good race, and like Diablo is strong no matter the map. So are like Jaina and Lucio. Ana especially good anywhere. Artanis could be a possibility. We haven't seen it yet in the series, unsurprisingly, because he's not an amazing solo laner in general right now, but is quite good on this map because he does provide a decent amount of race. So I don't know. There's a lot of options here. Be interesting to see what each of these teams go with, how much they switch it up compared to the first 2 games. But one thing that I feel very confident about, is that we are going to see a very good game.
Yeah, some bans to be looking out for this game. Ana ban on the side of Minion Miners. The Ana was able to, in my mind, single-handedly disrupt some of the ult combos that Minion Miners was looking to go for with the Eye of Horus, as well as get a ton of damage out. So I think that's something you can remove out of the equation. That might be a very different game. Meanwhile, Jaina has been a very consistent with Sir Mac and Cheese, getting able to get some flanks and a couple picks in team fights. So I expect to maybe see that banned out here on the side of NUES.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it. It'll be very interesting to see what happens here as we are getting ready for this game. I mean, wow. If we don't see an Ana ban, I'm gonna be shocked. I've been shocked before, so might not happen. But I would be shocked if we did not see an Ana ban from Minion Miners, unless they're trying to steal it. But I don't think you risk that when the other team has the first pick.
However, it hasn't been priority. I think they're going to ban it. Minion Miners has had multiple opportunities to pick Ana ahead of NUES, and they haven't taken it yet. Although I would like to see in Tasty pick up Eye of Horus regardless of whatever you get. I don't think that Nano Boost was able to get a ton of value in game number 1, but Eye of Horus definitely was in game number 2. So should be interesting to see what the bans are. They changed up a lot between games 1 and 2, so there is no guarantee locked bans for these two teams.
Yep, the only ban that stayed constant between the first two games was the Zeratul being banned first by Minion miners each time. And yeah, I mean, Minion miners have picked Jaina Lucio as their 1-2 in each of the first two games. And Ana being picked up in the 2-3 each time by NUES. We do see the Lucio ban coming out right away, so we will not see a 1-2 of Jaina Lucio from Minion Miners this game, and we see the Ana ban right back, which makes sense. We're gonna see some fresh healers here. See Ana and Lucio both being picked up in each of our first two matches from these teams. Now both of them being banned away immediately means we're gonna get some variety out here. Might see a Tyrande. Might see that Uther that got banned out in the first game. Zeratul now being banned actually by NUES, which it was banned by Minion Miners in each of the first two games. Healer-wise, though, Tyrande, Malfurion, White Mane maybe? Who knows? What do you expect to see?
Healer-wise, this is Malfurion's best map. Maybe we could see Garrosh Malfurion, because Garrosh has not been picked or banned throughout this entire match. So you could actually even potentially go for a late pick Garrosh Malfurion combo if you really want to prioritize a couple assassins you've been waiting for. And it will instead be Maiev. I agree that the Maiev pick was able to do a good amount of work on the side of NUES in game number 1. They just weren't able to leverage it as much because of the dive from Minion Miners, which is Maev's trying. You haven't used Cage of Wardens as peel for Maiev is not the best feeling.
See Li Ming here. That is, let's call it interesting. We do see the Tyrande. I like the Tyrande pick. As much as Li Ming is a perfectly good hero, and I'm sure Sir Mac of Cheese will be able to play her just fine. I do find it interesting that they're swapping away from the Jaina here after picking up that Jaina in each of the first two matches and having it work very well for them. I assume they have a strategy in mind. The Jaina now going over to Night Knight and NUES, with Diablo being picked up here. Does not allow for that strong Diablo Tyrande combo to come out from the side of Minion Miners, because Diablo is on the other side of the screen.
Something though that is commonly run on BOE is a reset comp with Li Ming. Although they don't have the Ana to give nano boost to Li Ming, you pick up like a Taunt Varian or someone with very strong CC, like Nubrak, who is actually still on the board too. And well, not anymore. Spoke too soon. But basically, just try to lock down one target, get that first reset for Li Ming, and then from there, your Li Ming can do the rest of the work for you.
Yep, I mean it's certainly possible, and there's always nice things you can build with Li Ming. So I agree with you. I've got to assume that that's what they're going for here, but it still is always interesting to see what they choose to go with, and they are still waiting for a main tank. Arthas might be it. As Kobo picking up the Arthas, and Kobo has been in our off lane each of the last two matches. I've got to assume that is not the main tank, but rather the off lane Arthas. Could be an ETC. They did pick that up in the first game, and that still is on the board. Will be interesting to see what they go with in terms of healers now. Could pick up that Malfurion. They don't have the Garrosh. Malfurion's still quite good, and there he is. Got one of these calls right for once, and they will pick up the Yorick for the solo lane. That's a pretty strong healer pickup too, or hero pickup.
Yeah. Something to note though is that NUES doesn't really have a great amount of burn on their team. Minion Miners doesn't have like a huge amount. They do have Exterminator Rainer, assuming he goes that talent, who's able to put a good amount. He's definitely not like in the top tier of burners on BOE. But it's NUES is going to be constantly looking for fight, and there is what I expect to be the taunt variant in order to assist Sir Mac of Cheese to get that first reset in these fights.
All right, I love it. I love the draft by Minion Miners. I mean, compared to NUES, at least. I mean, like you were just saying, that burn. I mean, Raynor, even if he's not like the top tier of heroes in terms of race, he is still quite a bit better than what we see on the side of NUES. So that means NUES will have to hard win a team fight in order to get any sort of big race advantage, and the Immortals can provide huge value on this map. And then also, like you said, that Li Ming with the variant taunt, even though they don't have the Ana for the nano boost, you can get the taunt into shred, into reset, into Li Ming goes nuts. So as much as I was a little confused at the beginning, I love the way that has come together for Minion Miners. I love the
Well,
draft
we
here.
will see if they will be able to implement it correctly, as it will be game number 3 on the blue side, looking to carry the momentum into the match win. It will be Night for NUES on the Jaina, Chaotic Order on the Maiev, and Tasty on the Malfurion, Chaos Dude on the Diablo, and the Canoe on the Leoric.
And on the red side, Minion Miners looking to bring it back and steal this series away. We've got Cawthon on the Varian, Himbo on the Rainer, Kobo on the Arthas, Sir Mac of Cheese on the Li Ming, and Weskra on the Tyrande. Here we go in game number 3. This is for it all the last game of the regular season in Div B East.
I gotta get the band police out there. That's an animated spray. Very much illegal by the No Fun Police. But we'll let it slide this time. As both teams now decide to start getting the clear out, who do you think will have the advantage clear-wise in the top wave? Actually, Chaotic Order going in, not able to get anything though, so they'll just be able to clear it easily. But anyways, in that slow lane, who do you think has the advantage between Leoric and Arthas?
It should be Leoric, especially at level 4 once he picks up Neopescence. Up until that point, it'll probably be fairly even, but Neopescence at 4 should give the advantage over to Leoric. And it also kind of depends on the playstyle. If you're willing to play up as either of these heroes, you can get more of an advantage, even though Leoric should naturally win it. And now we do see Chaotic Order on Maiev rotating up to sneak that top camp, and because Leoric is playing up, and because he does have that better wave clear, even before he picks up level 4, it does mean that Arthas Kobo has no idea that Maiev has snuck up here to take the camp. Camp will be picked up, and now they rotate back to the bottom lane for Maiev. Canoe has some
That's the
friends.
advantage of that level 1 Nisha's on the Maiev. She's able to absolutely shred camps when you have it, and so you can sneak camps like they were able to here and get a good amount of push going to top lane. This forces Sir Mac and Cheese to have to rotate up in order just to assist Kobo with the clear. And so here we go. Cawthon ended up going very low in the spot lane with the root and the pull, but some nice healing by Rescra will allow for no one to die on the side of Minion Miners, but that will allow for NUES to look for the spot siege camp.
You see looks like Maiev having some connection issues, but will be fine, so no pause necessary here. Just gonna continue on as normal. We see a Li Ming down in the top lane with Kobo. Now we're gonna rotate back on down, and the bot camp being taken by NUES, so they're gonna have a nice advantage here in terms of mercenary XP, having taken 2 camps to 0 at the moment. And that should help them get some nice push, although right now Minion Miners is winning the push war very slightly in the bottom lane. They are not winning the experience war. That is NUES. Gotta figure those camps are helping make the difference, but level 4 being picked up by both teams.
It will be Taunt variant being confirmed here. Kind of expected. Interesting though to see it does not take the quest at level 1, instead taking the parry talent. But both teams now will be looking to pick up their camp. Himibo will be a little bit late with this camp pickup here. Meanwhile, Chaotic Order able to just shred through, but Jaina will have to back for mana before this Immortal phase. So both teams will be a little bit late to start on their Immortal.
Yeah, I agree. That is quite interesting that Varian took that parry talent at level 1 instead of the Lion's Maw quest for hitting those Qs. We do see a pause here for Maiev disconnecting. The hamster running running on the ball to run his internet is taking a water break, I think. So maybe should have stalled out a little bit before game number 3. But as these first immortals spawn, we see Sir Mac of Cheese on that Li Ming, currently standing right by the immortal that is spawning that he is meant to attack, being Miners on the attack instantly, as we do see Hemibo and Weskra taking their bruiser camp, while Maiev and Test C and Night Night just finished taking their Bruiser camp. So it'll be interesting to see. I would assume for Minion Miners, you finish that camp with Rainer and Tyrande before you consider going in. Li Ming's just going to do some poke damage to get out, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Here we go, though, as that camp is picked up there. It will be Sirac. She's actually getting caught out here by Chaos Dude. But if the root will end up going down, that's a huge pickup there by NUES. That will allow for them to start to look already for getting some damage onto the Immortal of Minion Miners.
It looks like down 5v4. Gonna opt to back up, except for the Arthas, who gets found out. But Himibo and Wesker going ahead and clearing out the siege camp in the bot lane. Arthas, though, playing too dangerously and will die for it.
As now it will be NUES pushing towards getting a halftime. Li Ming now back up, but the Orc will be forced to clear that top camp. So now it will be Himibo going in order to try to get some damage onto the Immortal. Cawthon gets the taunt onto Jaina. Night Night going a little bit low here, but it is just Cawthon trying to focus down that Jaina, so not enough damage in order to finish him off. As now it will be halftime won by NUES. They will just turn to try to focus onto their Immortal, but the race will be initiated here by Minion Miners. It will end up being very close here on both sides. It's neck and neck. Can the Rainer burn be enough? And it will actually be Minion Miners winning this first Immortal.
Yeah, and that's both teams looking engaged. Neither team wanting to give up those globes, but that's the reason that I was saying that I Miners here, draft-wise instead of NUES, is even though NUES was able to win the fights and had the upper hand and was getting a big early clear, got to halftime with not a ton of damage taken by their Immortal. I mean some, but you know, maybe a third of its health. But still, Minion Miners won the race just because even though Rainer isn't a top tier clearer and neither is Li Ming, it's just so much better than what NUES has here. That's the problem, is they just didn't draft a whole lot of race for that Immortal. And even though their comp is pretty solid outside of that, it can really make the difference.
Flip into the root there. Cawthon getting a little bit caught out, but will instead just try to stay and gets the taunt onto Night Night. Looking to get some more, but he's getting pretty low. Meanwhile, Chaos Dude taking a lot of damage from Himibo. Will be forced to get out. Sir Mac and Cheese might be caught here with the tether. Forced to stay in. Will end up just getting absolutely blasted by Night Night. The camp is the siege camp is picked up here by Minion Miners, but they will end up losing Sir Mac and Cheese.
Yep, we do see the Souls quest finished by Diablo for now. Respawn if he does die, and that is at his largest health pool. He's currently at 5,083 health at level 8, so he is a very beefy lad right now.
Well, we have NUES looking to actually rotate up and look for this top camp again. As you said, Canoe able to really dominate this lane normally, but he ends up going very low, so he will end up backing Kobo, who'll be looking for this camp right when Chaotic Order rotates up for it. So I don't know if he actually spotted that out or not. Definitely will know something is up, know that he sees 3 in the top lane. So that will allow for Minion Miners actually just to get a ton of push onto this bot fourth here. Camp is picked up by NUES, but they might want a response. The Orc ends up getting taunted and stunned here. Canoe will end up going down here along with the fort, I believe. So that's a huge pickup here by Minion Miners, but Chaos Dude will not let that potentially be for free. Goes in on Himibo, not able to get the flip though onto it. The root ends up going onto Cawthon along with the tether. He's going pretty low himself. Himibo very low, will end up going down. The resets will end up killing Varian. Westcroft going very low as well. Nice kills there from Chaotic Order. Will at least get some value back for NUES.
Well, and that's the value you get from Maiev, is if you get 2 people in your line of sight, you just fan knife, boom, dead Varian, dead Rainer. I mean, just, oh, I mean, wow, that's just nasty. I mean, crazy good. And so that's where you find that intense value from the Maiev. They pick up the 10s first. Warden's Cage, Ring of Frost, Tranquility, Entomb, and Apocalypse. And now we see Syndragosa, Shadowstock, Rainer's Raider. We already had Taunt be picked up, and wave of force from
Yeah,
Minion.
as there is a 7k health advantage, but this time NUES is just going to go in and not try to outrace them. The taunt goes out onto Diablo there, but Chaos Dude has a ton of souls, so he has to be careful. Sir Mac and Cheese will end up getting blown up there by the APOC. Now Kotha being very low. Himibo got caught by the Ring of Frost. You will end up going down. Now Eskra in a little bit of trouble here from Chaotic Order. Night Knight trying to put the damage into Kotha to finish him off. Actually, it's the Root that ends up catching Eskra with the tether, will end up killing him, so it will be a 3-for-0 trade by NUES, and that will allow for them to pick up this Immortal.
Yep. So even though the race is so much stronger from the side of Minion Miners, right there NUES did their exact win condition in terms of Immortal race for NUES was met, which is kill like 3+ members of the enemy team so that they can't stop you from racing down the Immortal. They did it and they won the Immortal, but they're gonna have to be careful.
Chaos Dude very low, ends up getting the charge of the Kobo, but will end up going down. Kothan has to be careful now, as the camp is picked up by Minion Miners. Now it's Kobo who's very deep, looking for the kill onto Chaotic Order. A nice leap there. Will end up getting out of the route, but Canoe ends up stopping right in front of the Arthas, so will end up going down. That's a reset for Sir Mac and Cheese. Another kill onto Mive, looking to see if he can get the kill onto Ant. Will end up getting away, so this will be a nice and easy clear for Minion Miners, despite and they will have the push top with this camp.
Yep, so there was a whole lot of shield left on that Immortal, so it will get this whole front wall, maybe a little bit of damage on the, I don't know, actually, I'm not sure it'll be able to take much after it gets that fountain down. And so yeah, like you said, because they're able to take that Shaman camp, there will be some decent counter push. Canoe actually in huge danger, but Cabo stepped up for the kill and might get punished for it by Chaos Dude, and with the whole rest of the team
He
here,
dodges the root though, so that will allow for him to get away. Meanwhile, the rest of Minion Miners taking this bottom siege camp, as they have already taken this fort down. Meanwhile, NUES doing the exact same in the top lane here. A little bit more push opportunity for NUES, as again, they don't have the fort down. However, that trickle XP has allowed for Minion Miners along with the kills to catch up, and as both teams will be hitting 13 at about the same time.
Yep, and so, I mean, yeah, that camp is a way better deal for Minion Miners than it is for pushing on Keep versus pushing on Fort. I mean, it won't get to the Keep, but it does mean that it was absolutely imperative for NUES to respond to that. Even Minion Miners would like to get that down, but didn't necessarily have to respond to it as urgently. Now the Shaman camp being picked up by NUES, it looks like Minion Miners are just going to go ahead and take this opportunity to try to burn down the top fort. Should be able to get it if NUES doesn't rotate up fast enough. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, it looks like NUES will get there
and
just
they don't want
to
a repeat of last time where they did get the fort, but at the cost of one member, so they weren't able to really try to contest the Immortal until a little bit later. Had to give halftime. This time they'd be a little bit more careful. The top fort will live for now, but Minion Miners will be able to clear the Shaman camp ahead of the Immortal phase, and they will be able to look to race this Immortal.
Yep, which is a good move for them, considering what their comp is. And they snip out that bush gank with the Tyrande Owl and the Varian Q. A nice root by Arthas.
Yep, but for now, NUES just content to sit there. As here comes the engage, will blow up Canoe, but the APOC will end up catching the Variant here, as Kothan has to be careful, ends up getting a little bit of healing. Will that be enough? Oh, a huge Rio Frost ends up getting 4 members, so that will be 3 kills. Westcrowd now looking low along with Himibo. Will Westcrowd be able to get away? No. So that will be a huge Ring of Frost there by Night Knight. Will allow for the turnaround, as it is a 4-for-1 trade in favor of NUES.
Yeah, and so the thing that always concerns me when you're on Battlefield of Eternity and you don't have any real strong race assassins is because you're conditioned to win the Immortals. Your winning condition on the Immortal race is kill 3+ members of the enemy team. It's can you actually do that feasibly? But NUES has done it multiple times, and it looks like they will win this Immortal too, because they get another huge trade. A 4-for-1 is incredible and allows them to pick up this Immortal. Their Immortal is going to be at very high health. Now it's being burned down by Minion Miners, but I mean, they actually got it fairly low considering the circumstances, rushing it down almost at half when they only started burning it after halftime, but still, NUES getting a quite healthy Immortal considering, I mean, it's like, it's over half, it's maybe 5/8 of its shield is up, so should be able to take that fort, barring a really nice defense by Minion Miners here.
Yeah, as now here comes the Immortal. They're looking to get their first fort pickup. I think they definitely will at least get the fort here. The question is how much more will it get beyond the fort, as Chaos Dude able to just kind of zone out. And now Cawthon might be in a little bit of trouble with the root as well. Ends up taunting Chaos Dude in order to try to survive a little bit more. Kobo is deep, trying to get the damage onto Tasty, but here comes the Entomb onto Cawthon himself. Kobo looking very low, trying to get any damage he can, but will end up going down. Sir Mac and Cheese does get that first going deep, looking for that first reset, excuse me. Will not be able to get it, but the members were able to successfully back away on the side of Minion Miners to get a good amount of kill. Chaos Dude getting a huge charge onto Sir Mac and Cheese, but he'll just be able to blink away here. But this gate is going down. Can they get the keep after the pick onto the Arthas? They will be looking for it. The Immortal will end up going down, but Chaos Dude looking to see if he can get a pick of his own. Looking for Westcroft, will end up opting for Himibo with the tether, but Diablo himself will end up going down. So, but a nice unstoppable there by Canoe will not allow for any more potential resets by Sir Mac Cheese. I spoke a little bit early, Jaina ends up going down. Now here comes the taunt onto Chaotic Order. Will end up going down some. Now Tasty in trouble, will go down. Can he get the wipe? No, he cannot get Canoe, but still, that does save the keep and now presents a huge advantage for Minion Miners.
That was huge. You saw 16 being picked up for NUES very early in that Immortal push, which was part of why they were able to go so far with it. That plus the pick they were able to find, but getting those 4 kills, and one of them was Diablo's souls, but still getting 3 full death timers plus ridding Diablo of those souls. And look at the experience. It's all even up now. The Oregon Diablo were looking to take that bot camp, but they're kind of scared now. I mean, they know Kobo's in that area. They will now, I think, take it now that they know that how many members are topside for Minion Miners securing that fort. But this is a much worse situation for NUES than it was not very long ago. I mean, granted, they're still very firmly in this game, do have the experience lead, do have about even in structure. They have keep damage, but they've lost 2 forts instead of 1. So call out what you will, but definitely firmly in this game. But it looked like they were about to snowball that advantage into a huge advantage that could end up winning them the game. And instead, they now find themselves on even footing in a dangerous situation. We'll pick up the Bruiser camp as we head to the Immortal phase. We'll have to see which team looks to engage on a fight here. Minion Miners may need to back up to clear that camp in the bot lane. We'll have
Both
to see what
teams
happens.
tend to just play defense for now as they wait for their members to all come for the regroup. Now will be Chaos Dude looking to see if he can maybe get engaged. Seeing none as the members of Minion Miners had to rotate down in order for the defense, this will be a free amount of damage onto this Immortal. But as we noted, they don't really have a ton of Immortal burn, so it will just be a little bit of chip damage. They get about 25% of its health down now, as here comes the Minion from members of Minion Miners. Oh, it looks like Chaos Dude might be in a little bit of trouble there. Got rooted and took a lot of damage from the Li Ming, but will not go down. Now it's Chaotic Order's turn to take a ton of damage. Ends up getting the stun there, but Canoe eats an orb for him, so will be able to get away successfully. Chaos Dude went in deep along with Canoe. Canoe ends up backing up a little bit more, but Chaos Dude in a little bit of trouble. Canoe going very low, will end up going down. That is a nice APOC though, ended up catching 2 members, as now Cawthon has to be careful, will end up going down. Now that's 2 members caught by the Ring of Frost. Jaina will end up going down by the trade for Kobo, as Sir Mac and Cheese is looking to see if he can get the reset on the Chaotic Order. Will not be able to quite yet. And Tasty though, going down to Himibo. Chaos Dude now in trouble, will go down to Sir Mac and Cheese. Chaotic Order will barely be able to get out there, but here comes the burn on the side of Minion Miners, as Maya by herself not able to do anything just yet.
Yeah, Chaotic Order had to be quite careful there, almost falling multiple times, and you see how close NUES was to picking up the halftime there. Unable to do it, and then Minion Miners just shredding their way to the halftime show themselves. And so they should be able to get a quite healthy Immortal, because they should be able to shred this one down before the members of NUES are able to get up and travel here. So about a half health Immortal, very slightly over. having 17,500 out of that original 33,000 shield. But this is a fairly strong Immortal here, and they have taken a very slight lead advantage, but it does mean they'll get level 20s just an little bit. Actually, with that Minion wave, it's now about a half level lead, so this actually will be a noticeable amount of time that they'll have a 20 advantage. They don't have Arthas here, though. This is a 4v5, and they don't have 20 quite yet. Now they do. So it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to fight this before Arthas gets down here, but they are giving NUES some free clear on
Yeah, and that's kind of crucial here. Kobo's time, he was just trying to get that 20, but in the meantime, their 20 advantage timeline went down, but here comes the Syndra, able to route 4 with the upgrade, and that will just be Canoe getting absolutely deleted from the game. However, not able to get a reset from Sir Mac and Cheese, so that is a little bit of a saving grace on the side of NUES, but this keep will be going down, and Minion Miners will be looking for core.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. They're gonna really need
yeah, Gorder barely able to leap out of that stun. Chaos Dude going deep, looking for the APOC, ends up catching 2 members there, along with the same 2 members getting rooted there from the Ring of Frost, but no one quite going down. Chaotic Order will end up going down along with Sir Mac and Cheese, so it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Jaina now being focused by Cawthon, but Chaos Dude instead getting a lot of damage onto Kobo with the stun. You just try to see if he can delete anyone, but it will be Kobo who goes down. Chaos Dude, though, has to be careful. Then Tomb ends up going on to Westcraw, but he himself, the core actually is at 8%. Cawthon looking to fish off, it's at 2%. Heavy Bow will be able to finish it. Minion Miners takes the series 2-1 by the skin of their teeth.
Wow, I saw the GG come out in chat from the side of NUES a little early because they were fairly confident that the game was going to be over, but that might have Chaotic Order, who's sitting in base, really maybe shouldn't have said GG yet because it looked like his team was going to be able to hold, but then Minion Miners coming back, just getting barely enough damage to finish off the core variant on Cawthon, diving it to get those last few auto attacks. And then Himibo on the Rainer stepping up to deal those last few shots to take it down and take the game. Very dangerous situation, as if it had gone the other way and the defense was successful, that would have given a huge advantage over to NUES with the 20s and pretty much a free reign to do whatever they wanted on the map for about 60 seconds. And they might have been able to look for core on their core push of their own if they had been able to finish that wipe.
Yeah, that was a very close game, very close series overall. As we noted, really, once they were able to get the kind of fine-tune their taunt combo with Li Ming, they just basically need to get the picks in fights. It ended up being very close. Some nice Ring of Frost from Night Knight. We were able to save a couple fights in the mid game, but a nice keep defense there in the end from Minion Miners was able to snowball into the eventually taking that Immortal there, and thus the game. Very close game and some nice momentum there for Minion Miners going into the playoffs. They're going to be a very strong 4 seed, I believe you said, going up against the 5 seed.
Yep, Minion Miners will end up as the 4 seed, play against Jailbait, who will be the 5 seed. Winner of that game will play the winner of Gilly Shark versus Excel Esports. And NUES, finishing as the 2 seed, will play against the Lubu in the first round, and the winner of that match will play the winner of the HOTUS versus Reborn Knights Black match. So, should be an exciting playoffs, especially if the teams play as well as they were tonight. And Minion Miners, even though they're the 4 seed, I mean, we just watched them take the series off of our 2 seed NUES, and if they play like that, I mean, I've got to imagine that they'd be a danger to anybody. You don't necessarily want to face them in bracket, but there are plenty of other strong teams in this league. I think that really there's no guarantee of anything. I think anybody could surprise anybody, and it'll be a fun playoffs to watch.
Most definitely. Especially, it was a very close series. Very close. Game number 3 could go either way there. We will have to look to see if we can get a member there of Minion Miners.
I've been told that we will get Kobo and Cawthon both joining us shortly. So our off tank and our main tank from this previous game. but they are just seeing them getting online now, so they should be available for us to go check in and see how they did.
I'll drag them in right now.
All right. So, first of all, guys, congratulations on your win tonight. It was very well played, and it was very tense, especially there at the end of game number 3.
Hell yeah, it was.
And so I see you guys are going to be the 4 seed going into the playoffs, and will match up against Jailbait in the first round, and NUES finishing as the number 2 seed. But you guys put them in their place tonight, showing them 4 greater than 2. Does that give you guys some good confidence heading into the playoffs?
Sort of. I know that they played a couple of their subs tonight, so I think if we see them again and they're running their full A game, it's definitely going to be a bit tougher to win.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that is true, but any win's a good win, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
got to take what you can get, and that was certainly a fun one. I was glad we were there to cast it. So let's go to game number 1 to start. Tomb of the Spider Queen. You guys drafted the Jaina Lucio ETC Phoenix Leoric, and that was a fun game to watch. And so I'm going to ask, and you don't have to tell me if it's a secret, but we saw that NUES banned Uther as their first ban in that game. Is that because you guys have some secret pocket strat that they just managed to snuff out, or are you guys just as confused as we are?
God, I wish. It was very confusing.
We were trying to figure out what kind of comp they might be running that they didn't want us to run Uther.
I thought they might have run a Genji or something, banning the Uther out, so I was like, okay, I mean, that makes sense, but I don't think any of us have ever even played Uther in an actual game.
I don't believe so either. I was looking at the heroes profile page for your team, and I was like, oh, they banned Uther. This team must play Uther a lot. And I looked, and I just didn't see Uther at all. 0 picks, 0 bans, and then I was just sitting there a little bit confused. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
It might have been for the Maev lockdown.
Let's say it was that, because that would make sense if you want to send your Maev and you don't want the Uther stunning it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it would have been for Ana, Blaze, Nubrak, or Orphea, so I think it's got to be for that Maev.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys, you ran the ETC, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you guys ran Stage Dive on that map. I assume that was just to get some more dive onto the Ana?
A little bit of both. I think they had a lot of interrupts for Mosh, and while Mosh can be a threat if you're holding it, I feel like there's potentially a little bit more value in just sort of an area clumping, sort of damagey ult.
Yeah, all right, makes sense. We saw you hit some good entombs on that Leoric Kobo, and several of them turning into some important kills. I think there was a moment late in the game on the Webweaver push that took all the keeps, where you entombed 2 or 3 people, and then Blaze went and charged you, and instead of you dying, the Blaze actually died. I mean, you want to talk about why you're so good at hitting those fat entombs and winning your team the game, or?
I play a fair amount of Leoric. It's one of those things, like, I don't know. I really don't know. It just clicks for me. I'm like, oh, 3 people lined up. Blonk. This looks fun.
Well, it certainly worked for you. And I did see some moments, I think it was like that was one of them, where your Phoenix went Purification Salvo, and the enemy Blaze had the Bunker. And so, of course, Bunker being the counter to the Purification Salvo if you hit it right. But a lot of the times, and including there, I think Phoenix got his whole salvo off without Blaze being able to drop the Bunker. Would you chalk that up to your Phoenix just playing incredible mind games and outplaying the enemy Blaze, or do you think there was something more at play there?
A little bit of that maybe. I felt like the bunkers were late regularly, so maybe it was just sort of a communication with the team that they weren't.
I feel like the bunkers came out once they were all split apart, so it wouldn't have gotten the value that it wanted anyway. But I don't know.
All right, I'm trying to give you guys the opportunities to brag about yourself a little bit, but you're not really taking it. So
We're pretty humble.
I'll ask you a little more standard questions. So I did see early in the game, it was nice. You guys were going for the early turn-in, and you managed to keep Blaze from
I
turning
remember
in
there
for
was
a
this
long
time,
time
the
at the
first time I
beginning,
met
while
Baby
you were
in
able to
person,
turn in your gems.
last season.
And then later in the
It
game,
was
when
like
you
pretty
had
early
that
in season
web
2,
weaver phase that
and
took
we were
out all
all
3
there was a bunch of
keeps, you were
people
able to
together,
just go
and
back and
at the
get
time
another
it was
one
Nomi and
immediately.
Baby's
So you guys are
apartment.
playing the turn-ins great.
And Baby
I
comes
mean,
in and he's like
it's
drunk
just
as shit.
you guys have
Just like,
some special strategy there? Is it just a whole lot of practice into getting those interrupts down right, or what is it about that map that let you guys play the turn-in so well?
So we've been abused around that point a fair amount of times, and so we've had a couple of conversations about how to kind of work those gems in a little bit better and start preventing things. We really got punished earlier in the season by Gilly Shark on Tomb, and I think that was a good lesson for us, and we kind of learned from it, and we've been adapting ever since.
All right.
Main strategy: don't die.
Main strategy: don't die. Good point. I'll have to incorporate that into my game. I usually do try to die as much as possible. My team flames me for it, but
yeah, the abuse by Gilly Shark definitely kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, and we've definitely learned a lot from it. Yeah,
worked out for you. All right,
Yeah.
so game number 2, Volskaya Foundry. You guys ended up falling on that one, but I mean, it was certainly close the whole way through. Could have gone either way. I mean, they won some key protectors. I think they won 2 in a row. 2 out of 3 that ended up winning them the game. But I mean, you guys didn't look bad at any point. What do you think went wrong for you in that game on Volskaya?
It was the team ult combination at the top. I think we just kind of all dumped our combo, like our R's at the same time, and I don't know. I think we had them almost wiped there, and I mean, I just felt like we had a hard time since then. They kind of took a sort of an aggressive stand at that point, and we just couldn't come back.
I get it. I messed up.
Well, I'll tell you my analysis of one thing I think went wrong for you is you let the enemy team get Ana with Eye of.
Yep.
Yeah. It's sort of a question. I mean, when you see a team plays something like Samuro on a larger map like that, it can put a lot of pressure while you're on the point, and so there's a lot of questions around like how do you mitigate some of that pressure, and what do you give up, and 3 bans just doesn't seem like enough some days.
Yeah, totally get it. I mean, you still have to give up plenty of good things. You can't ban everything, but you know, they did pick up on it in 2-3. There was a chance to steal it in the 1-2, but you guys felt like the Lucio was the right pick, and I mean, it's hard to blame you after seeing it come out on Tomb. Worked really well. But why did you pick the Lucio over the Ana in that case?
Well, so 2 of our members are subs this season, or have been, but they're sort of the OG miners, and definitely got some comfort picks for them tonight. Not saying that that's all that they play, but you know, if we can win pretty resoundingly, like why change a formula that's working?
That's fair. I do see Westgrid does have the Carbot Lucio portrait and did pick Lucio in this first 2 games, so not gonna name any names, but I'm just saying when he goes to Walmart, he buys the entire shelf of Lucios if they're in stock.
It would not surprise me in the slightest.
All right, let's talk about game number 3, Battlefield of Eternity. You guys were able to hang in there in a very close match that you guys were falling a little bit behind and swing it back into your favor with a couple clutch team fights and take the win. So first of all, getting that first ban, Ana, telling her to get out, pack her bags, hit the road. Really like that play after how hard she was abusing you in game number 2. And your comp with that, we were just talking in draft, I saw you guys pick up the Li Ming in the 1-2 instead of the Jaina that you had picked up in the first 2 games. And for a second, I took pause and I was kind of, okay, why is Li Ming here? And Dead called out, he said, you guys can't get the Ana for the nano boost on that reset comp, but if you pick something like that taunt variant to get the Li Ming popping off, that'll be a great combo. And lo and behold, you guys picked exactly that taunt variant with and especially with that Rainer, which made your burst or your immortal race quite a bit better than theirs. They didn't have a whole lot of race. I really liked your comp going into that. And is there any more notes you have to say about your comp? Anything that I've missed glossing over it? Because I really like the way it came together.
I think we loved it. It was just sort of let's have fun with this. I mean, honestly, win or lose that game, I think we were getting fourth place in the standings, and it sounded like fun.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, everything that we did was pretty much close to a comfort pick, and we were just like, okay, what comfort picks do we have that synergize? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Arthas plus Raynor. Oh my god, why not?
Yeah, well, worked for you. And really, I was thinking for them, with you having that Raynor Li Ming and their assassin being Maev Jaina, in terms of that immortal race, really their win condition in terms of winning the race was just they had to get about 3 kills on you guys in order to be able to just resoundingly take it and make it so that you guys could not just outburn them anyway. They were actually able to do that a couple of times and pick up a couple of mortals. I mean, was that scary for you guys that all of a sudden you were having the race comp and you were not out racing them, or?
Hmm. I don't
Uh,
know.
I think there were a couple times where we are like, ooh, this probably isn't too good, but I think we pulled it together pretty quick. Respawn timers were still fairly low, and we were able to mount a decent defense, get a little bit of poke on it, or at least get some quick burn and reduce the shield. And I think we really recovered pretty quickly. Um, it was some interesting fights, and we really came out on top. And I think our Li Ming really popped off there at the end, and it worked out really well for us.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. They were pushing down that top keep, and you won that trade 4 kills for 1. And I mean, Li Ming was just going nuts, and I guess that was what you were waiting for, was just the chance for Li Ming to run rampant over. That turned into a game win for you guys. So I hope Li Ming got some compliments and maybe some rest on those fingers, probably having to mash that teleport to get maximum value. Uh,
Nah, he's fine.
all right. Well, just make sure you take care of your players. You might need them for the playoffs.
Hell
Nah,
yeah!
he's fine. He'll be fine. Everything's fine.
All right, that's all the questions I have for now. So I'm just gonna toss it on
Thanks,
over to
Jax.
Jeff.
I'm gonna look more at kind of like the overall team level across 3 matches. But one thing that I was very impressed by you guys was your abilities to really kind of combo ults together. What, as a team, allowed for you, do you think, to get to the point to where you can kind of chain these ults together in order to win some team fights?
Try it once, and if it doesn't work, bitch at each other for a minute, and then figure out how to move forward the next time.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wish it was that easy for our team, but until they decide to follow my shot call, sorry, Jax, we'll still be having that issues.
Oh, got him.
I didn't even play tonight, and I'm getting flamed.
That's how you know that you deserve it.
You can coalesce with him. He's also an offlaner, so the feeding ways are strong. But
Mhm.
anyways, also what I was very impressed by is kind of your ability to regroup after a lost objective. We saw, especially in Game 3, where that Immortal was coming down onto your keep and you just lost a member. How as a team do you kind of prepare in order for like a return punch back and in order to get back into a game?
Bitch at each other for a minute or two and then try again.
It works extremely well on our team. I don't know. They're used to what 10 games of abuse at this point, so it's starting to come together.
I guess whatever ends up working. Hey, if it works, it works. Especially now at the playoff time.
No, we like to joke around, and I bet we spend more time on Discord BSing with each other than we do actually in game, which makes for some really interesting conversation topics when we get in game. But props to Himibo for throwing together sort of a scouting sheet every week. We definitely kind of work off of that, and it really spurs on some interesting discussions. When you talk about combining ults and stuff, a lot of that kind of comes together ahead of time just through, a couple quick conversations, and a few long and drawn out ones.
Sounds good. Then my final question for you guys is any shoutouts you have after your win today?
Go ahead, Gogo.
Thanks for casting. Thanks for having the whole NGS setup and whatnot. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, this thing wouldn't be happening. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks to the rest of the team for just having a good time and being patient and learning together. I mean, we are a pretty good team for as much as we actually get to spend time together. And NGS is great. Casters like you guys really make this even more special for us. There were some previous seasons where we didn't get too many casts, and it just feels so much better to get the attention. I'm not gonna lie. So thank you so much for that.
Give me attention.
Well, thank you guys so much, and good luck in the playoffs in this upcoming week. Make sure to look out for Minion Miners here in the Div B West, or excuse me, Div B East playoffs.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Well, Jax, another successful cast here as we go into the playoffs here. I believe that will be it for us in the regular season.
Yeah, I believe so too. As our regular season is wrapping up in all of our divisions, I think Div A, the only one that is not done. They just have, I think they only have a few games left. So we've been happy to cast these games. We've seen some real good ones. The one tonight was another quite good one. Very exciting, down to the wire in that third game. So thanks to both teams for giving us a great show tonight. Thank you to NGS for setting us up with these logistics. And I think we're just about ready to play us out. So unless you've got anything, why don't you take us out
Sure,
tonight?
thank you guys, everyone, for watching. And in honor of a fallen soldier on the Heroes Dev team, I'll see you guys all in the Nexus.